And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Leo. Welcome to Koi Play Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. Just a set of quick announcements. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open, so you can message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set that up, okay? So what we're looking at this round of reads, Leo, this is going to be your one-to-one for the month of June as we move forward in the seasons. Here, I like to, switch it up a bit. We're placing the one-to-ones towards the beginning of the month now. And a one-to-one, if I could describe it, it's a read that's happening between point A and point B. That's the easiest way to describe it. What's going on, the intricate dynamics of that relationship. Caveats. First major thing is that these style of readings tend to get called love readings, and I hate the name. The reason being is because they're not always lovely, right? We talk about everything at the table, and sometimes they can get very, down in the details, nitty gritty. We're going to talk about it all, right? The second caveat, it doesn't always have to be about love, promise you. It could be about your family member, neighbor, coworker, friend, somebody you just met, right? We're talking about an intricate dynamic between point A and point B. That's it. So that's preamble to the read, Leo. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, if it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I got 12 signs and none of the time to fake with any of them. Instead, we're going to lay our cards out on the table, and good or bad, come rain or sunshine, let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, okay? So follow along with me in your one-to-one read today, Leo. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. Your side is going to be over here. Their side is going to be over here. Show us the cards we need to see, please, between Leo and their person in this one-to-one read. What are the cards we need to see, please, between Leo and their person for this one-to-one read today? That's a break. Okay. What are the cards we need to see, please, between the Leo collective and their person for this one-to-one read? There we go. Yeah. Your side. Nice. The Two of Cups. Okay, it says desiring more intimate connection. And their end, Knight of Swords. Okay. So if I am to take this seriously, what then must be acted upon? Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean a refusal or rebuttal towards it, Leo. It's just that, okay, now that we've expressed a deeper desire or interest, how do we act upon that, not only rightfully, but intentionally, right? The question here is intention. So now that we have two individual parties on the board, let's see fronts and backs. Fronts and backs in a one-to-one read being what's on the outside, or in the backs, what's being left in the unsaid and potentially the unknown, and the inside, what's being directly shared, the fronts, what's being most said and directly communicated. Show us cards that we need to see, please, between these two parties and the fronts and backs of Leo's read today. What are the cards we need to see, please, fronts and backs here in Leo's read? Ooh. And interesting, because those two got left out, so I'll count that. Okay. Seven of Wands in your backs. Why? Why are we so guarded, Leo? Oh, Three of Cups. Got it. Let's see what they have to say first before I make a snap judgment about my predictions. The Knight of Wands. What they're directly communicating. Nine of Swords. Okay. So, I'm not saying this is a friends to lovers kind of situation, but I am noting that I'm talking to a Leo today that is very guarded about sharing their heart again. That's very self evident with the Seven of Wands. And then what's being directly communicated is okay, we're reuniting or we're on speaking terms again for some good reason, right? We reunited at Three of Cups, the notion of we had to have bumped into each other because I definitely was not planning this. And so, hey, I'm going out on a limb here. Are you feeling the same way? On their end, the Knight of Wands wanting to explore what that experience could be with you, Leo. Then we have the Nine of Swords in the background. Nine of Swords here, that is a very the Nine of Swords in the background now representing, okay, are we going to mess this up, right? Is this just a spur of the moment thing? Do you really desire deeper with me? Because it sounds nice, but, and I think we've been kind of like dancing around the issue, right? You, in the sense that I've been so defensive for so long, maybe they may not even believe me when I say this. Them on their end of being like, okay, if they're serious and it's not just going to be, a weekend getaway romance, it's going to be something I need to be very intentional about, right? So how do we navigate this when the truth is on the table? Fair enough. And show individual positions. Show the cards we need to see, please, for both parties, Leo and their person. What are you navigating? Individual positions, please. Okay. Ace of Cups. 1, 2, 3, and then the 7 in the background. But you're hoping that, hey, we can explore something deeper. It would very much make me elated and excited to see deeper with you. Okay. So it's been a while, Leo, but hey, getting back in the game. And on their end, what cards do we need to see, please, for the other person in their position? Nine of Wands, okay. And I think that's probably the Nine of Swords, why that's being guarded in the background. Put very simply, Leo, the effort that gets put into this by them is what will be had out of it. I think this is incredibly analytical of like, okay, what should we do with, the feelings that we do harbor? Because there seems to be some level of attraction or intentionality there. However, what I'm getting from this person on their end is that this could easily go sideways, right? The question is not the attraction. The question is all about love, right? And those, for the sake of this conversation, are two completely separate things. This person is attracted to you, right? This has been a standing dynamic between you two, I would say for a while now. However, on their end, I guess a question that they're not really asking, which is why they haven't been as upfront, because on your end is all the water, right? A little bit of fire, but that just comes to guarding your heart with all the water that's outpouring. On their end, it's just fire and wind. We have a firestorm, right? Very, abrupt energy, but also it's whirling in a tornado right now. And the reason being is because this is so analytical. I think the person on their end, they're asking, do I genuinely have deeper feelings for this person? Because I know that if I try to play around or placate it, it's going to end miserably, right? They have not asked the question of what's deeper than attraction yet. Easiest way to put it. Underneath it all, Five of Swords, the notion of sabotage, or at least self-sabotage on your end, saying, oh, was this a good decision? You were brave enough to try. On their end, oh, is this a good decision? They're not asking a deeper question yet. And I think that's what's holding up the process. Good. Now they have two individual parties looking towards each other, one towards the other. What about what's happening down the middle? Show us the cards we need to see, please, for Leo in this read. What is shared in the space between, the bridging gap between Leo and their person in this one-to-one read? cards we need to see, please, for industry. Okay, down the middle. Six of Cups. A long-standing bond that can't be faked or broken. Seven of Pentacles, accepting the process. Ooh, okay. Three of Wands, what could the potential actually hold? Ace of Cups, a fulfilled heart, let love be renewed, and a Ten of Pentacles. Ooh, okay. And underneath it all, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I'm getting this idea that you and this person have known each other for a very long time. And I'm not just saying like, oh, we met through our job, about a year ago. I'm talking about like potentially like childhood friends or a dynamic where we always were forced to be in proximity to each other, right? It's kind of like the narrative of the boy next door almost, right? And in knowing that it's like, okay, the Wheel of Fortune and the underneath, things were bound to take a turn with time. You harbored feelings for this person for a while. On their end, oh, we must maintain the dynamic. I think that's an unspoken agreement between you two. However, now this is on the table. What does entertaining a future together look like? That's the conclusion that both of you are coming to, just from completely different angles. Yours purely from the emotionality of, do you actually want this with me? Then from the emotionality of, not that they don't feel anything, but we've been, friends, or, our parents have known each other for so long, that kind of dynamic where what happens if it doesn't go right and I break your heart, right? There's actually a lot of consideration on their end, except for it's all being energetically directed at you and not within, trying to ask different questions. And I think that's, again, the holdup, because both of you are asking the same question from a different angle. What does life look like together now? And if there weren't emotions on each side, both being had for each other, then we wouldn't have the pondering of potential anything between the two parties. So again, what about love? What about the what if? I'm talking to a Leo right now who, if this is stuck, is very much stuck because you've known this person for literally years. But beyond knowing them for years, what could we be if we try it together? And that's something for you two to figure out in the tangible and the real world. Resolution, as we have no major arcana on the table, is very quick, cut, and dry. Show us the cards we need to see, please, what is held in a space of resolution for Leo in their one-to-one read today. Honestly, I do like this for you, Leo. Let's see what is held in resolution between you and this other person. Five of Swords. And that showed up in the underneath too. What goes along with that? The Sun. Are we going to be brave enough to try to explore together and try to see what happiness is? Or will it all crash and burn? That Five of Swords. You have the idea of self-sabotage. I'm going to mess it up. They're going to mess it up. Versus the Sun of what happens if we could build a life together. Underneath it all, the Lovers. Yeah, I see the hesitation. Let's do a quick recap, Leo. What do we have in this read? I think both of you, it's been obvious in further, exploration of the read. You have known this person for a very long time. They have known you for a very long time. If you have not directly been engaging with them, you have always been in proximity to them. Could have been the family friend, and you were kind of forced to hang out with them. Could have been through mutual community dynamics. Long story short, you and this person have always known of or about each other. And I would say probably for years. What is being held down the middle is not necessarily doubt, but the pondering of what if, right? I mean, we're already in each other's lives. What would it mean to actually explore deeper? And it's coming at it from two different angles. You're saying, okay, these emotions, originally I thought I could keep them hidden, but now it's like, okay, what would it actually mean exploring it? I'm taking a leap of faith here and telling you about this. them saying, okay, the attraction is there, but I'm so deathly afraid of if we don't work out, what'll happen to us, right? This level of consideration that both parties are having for each other, obviously the attraction is there for both parties, right? The narrative of the boy next door, girl next door, like I was talking about earlier, very much applies. And both of you are being very careful, not simply to guard your own heart, but not to break the others, right? If an element of love and genuine affection was not there, then that would not be on the table for consideration. This person is terrified of not only breaking your heart, but the notion that what happens if we just are attracted to each other, but there's nothing else? What does it mean then? Right? What do we have then? Will we start to resent each other after this fails? So there's so many questions that are gearing towards the notion of this will inevitably fail, rather than both parties being real with themselves and being honest with themselves. Why does it make me happy to explore more? You've already been in my life for so long. Wouldn't it make sense? So yeah, the underneath, that Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Swords, this stuff was bound to happen with time, but now that all things are on the table, so potentially maybe this idea of the 4-letter word. That's what I got in your read today, Leo. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, this is something for both parties having to explore at deeper levels within themselves, but also having to be honest with each other about. Both of you are thinking about it, both of you are contemplating it. And it may have been years in the running, but hey, what does it generally look like between you and I now that we're all grown up? That's what I got in your read today, Leo. And yeah, hope the conversation helped. It's scary, but if it wasn't worth risking anything over, you wouldn't be scared at all. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.